to visit Texas on Friday as we learn at least 104 people were killed in the devastating Texas flash floods.
Meantime, search crews are not giving up hope yet, still looking for the dozens that are still missing. Fox Weather correspondent Robert Ray live in Kerrville, Texas with more. Robert.
Yeah, Todd and Carly, good morning from Kerrville here on the Guadalupe River. Look, this area is devastated, catastrophic, over 100 lives lost, 28 of them children from Camp Mystic, about 20 miles from where we are standing. And I can tell you, we look at these visuals, search and rescue is still very active all the way until the sun went down yesterday. Crews combing the sides of the devastated Guadalupe River looking for survivors and maybe a miracle. Now, I could also explain that the helicopters that had some downtime overnight began about 3 a.m. Central. We've heard several of them go over, and we will continue to listen to that throughout the day as search and rescue is in full force still, and yet recovery does continue on the edges of this as huge machinery is being brought in to excavate mud and trees. In the meantime, aid groups are on the ground and volunteers and residents who are reeling. Let's listen to one of them.
I spent the first 2 days crying. That second day I stopped crying. I went and fed people. Third day I came out and looked for bodies. Here I am again. It's horrible. I have grandchildren that I couldn't imagine them flowing down a river. And I'm out here digging in piles with my friend, just hoping that maybe we can find something that reunites somebody back with their family.
A glimmer of hope, and that is what all residents here are hoping for. Meanwhile, the parents who have lost these children, 28 little souls, that indeed is the real catastrophic situation here as they were washed away in the Guadalupe River just days ago in the middle of the night on July 4th. As you noted, Donald Trump, president, will be on the ground here Friday as more federal aid makes its way in, state and local working together. Search and rescue still very active and a lot still happening here on the ground in Texas. Back to you.
Catastrophic and a tragedy that will never be forgotten. Robert Ray, live for us in Kerrville, Texas. Robert, thank you. Let's bring in Mario Duarte, the president and CEO of Project Dynamo, a nonprofit organization that is now on the ground in Texas after recently helping rescue Americans trapped in Israel. Mario, thank you so much for joining us. You're about 30 minutes from where Robert Ray was standing in Kerrville. So give us an update on your search and rescue efforts.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for having us. It's like we were hearing, it's catastrophic. It's sad to us Texans. It's heartbreaking, really seeing what happened. Entire communities, pretty much devastated. Families moved and outrooted. Areas that were completely cut off. Infrastructure washed out. But at the end, it's all about hope, right? That's the last thing we lose, and that's why we're here. See a lot of volunteers. Increasing the capabilities of the Texan government, which actually has been great at responding to this catastrophe. But here we're still hoping for miracles. But we're also, we also understand that we're getting close to that phase that is going to be probably the hardest, which is recovery, and also accepting what we have lost, the people we've lost in the morning. But at the end, it comes with faith also that we will have to rebuild, and we'll rebuild stronger and make Kerrville better and prettier than it was when this happened.
Mario, what is the greatest challenge to your teams on the ground right now?
It's at the end, it's what we call technical ground. What we're doing is just pretty much exploring along the banks of the Guadalupe River. We've been working in between Center Point, Texas, and Kerrville, Texas. That stretch of the Guadalupe River along the banks, making sure we check on all the debris we find. We've seen trucks. We have seen entire trailer parks just all over the place, destroyed, devastated. Small houses, pieces of small houses. There was something that was very haunting. We found this little rag doll, completely destroyed, close to where we found some of the bodies, and it tells you what we lost there. But at the same time, it gives you hope again that, we're strong enough to build again. And the good thing about all this is that as difficult as the terrain along the bank is, our military veterans with Project Dynamo, we're all infantrymen, former special forces, former rangers. We are bringing military precision to humanitarian assistance, right? And it doesn't matter how difficult it is. We're just going along and then making sure that we don't leave, rock unturned to make sure that if there is anyone alive, we're still trying to find them.
Yeah, and you can imagine the joy that doll gave the little girl and the innocence that has been lost in this catastrophic disaster. You've been to a lot of disaster areas through Project Dynamo. Have you ever seen anything like this?
Every disaster is different, but at the end, the human effect is what counts, and probably is the only comparable thing, because it doesn't matter if it's, thousands of lives or 100 or a couple. At the end, it's human life, and it's catastrophic if it's only one of its many, right? We've been all over the place. We responded to Helene last year. Probably the closest thing you could compare this to is what happened over there in Asheville. Different order of magnitude, tens of people more that were lost, but at the same time, it's comparable when you think about the infrastructure and all the communities that were cut off and lost.
Yeah. Mario Duarte doing the Lord's work down there in Texas. Mario, thank you for taking time to join us. And remember, you, the Fox News viewer, can join Fox's support of the recovery efforts following these devastating floods by going to go.fox/TXFLOOD relief. That's /Texas Flood Relief. Your donations will support the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country's relief and rebuilding efforts.